Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. Breaking news, WABC.
That was a nail.
Yo, Jay.
Jesus is king, and he made it that nail bomb didn't go off. Jesus is king. Thank you, Lord God. Thank you, Lord God.
What just happened?
Thank you, Lord God. They threw a nail bomb at us, and it didn't explode because Jesus is still on the throne of my life. Thank you, Jesus.
They just threw another one. Get the goat. Someone's got to get the goat.
Oh, the goat!
Someone's got to get the goat. Will take care of it. Don't worry.
We are looking at the possibility of a city on edge. Dominic Carter here with you on this Sunday night. The number to reach me live. We have an awful lot to get to. 800-848-9222. Devices thrown at that Gracie Mansion protest determined to be highly dangerous IED devices capable of serious injury or death. That's according to the NYPD. 2 pro-Muslim demonstrators are among those arrested in this incident. Federal authorities are now working with the NYPD. Federal charges are expected to possibly follow as early as tomorrow. Authorities are also executing and carrying out a search warrant at a house in Pennsylvania, a vehicle on the Upper East Side, a few blocks away. The bomb squad responded to. You could see the robot go up to the car and smash the window so that the bomb squad people could get a look inside. Very, very serious situation. Gracie Mansion, the protest on Saturday is real, is really get highly volatile explosive devices. Commissioner Jessica Tisch announcing, and here's a bit of what she had to say.
The protester, identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area, landing in the crosswalk of East 87th Street and East End Avenue. Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers. Mr. Balat then ran southbound on East End Avenue toward 86th Street and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. Officers immediately secured the area, and they took both men into custody. This was all captured on NYPD Argus camera.
So we are dealing with a very, very serious situation. The 2 young men believed to be radicalized while here in America, 18 and 19 years old, according to authorities. That's just one of the stories we are following this hour, and details could break live any minute in terms of many of the stories that we're following. Another one on the world stage, the Ayatollah's son has been named as Iran's next supreme leader. But remember what President Trump has consistently said, and that is essentially every time a leader is named in Iran, they end up dead. Mamdani's wife liked the post. I told you the story on Friday, the 3 p.m. show, liked the post calling the October 7th Hamas rapes of Israelis a mass hoax. I told you, folks, there was a reason why the Mamdani campaign was keeping the wife away from the public eye, and we're starting to find out why. So now the question becomes, what's the next shoe to drop? And wait until you hear how Mamdani minimizes what his wife did on social media. It is indeed incredible. This administration of free, 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 you went for the okie doke, free, free, free. Well, they're now considering eliminating free parking. They're considering no more free parking in New York City as the city deals with a $5.4 billion shortfall. It is Women's History Month, and we are acknowledging station owner Margot Katzimatidis. She has been, and it's personal for me to a degree, she has been the biggest backer of my career, her and her husband, Mr. Katzimatidis. But the fact of the matter is she does so much to help so many, planting so many seeds for future generations. And later this hour, we'll introduce you to a legendary boxer in our area. With his documented IQ, he's one of the smartest people on the planet. His name is Bobby Ches. He's won a world championship in different weight classes. He lives in the Nutley, New Jersey area, but he's up against the biggest fight of his life, which is cancer. We'll talk to him later this hour, a remarkable conversation. But let's get back to what amounts to, and I'm not over dramatizing this, what is going to happen in a few hours. New York City is a city on edge because of what happened Saturday right outside the mayor's residence, Gracie Mansion. You have dueling protesters, and you have these devices thrown that, thank God, did not go off, but they did smoke. And if you think that these devices are something to joke around with and that it wasn't serious, listen to this report on the Fox News channel.
Fox News has learned of a disturbing development involving the type of explosive used in the attempted attack and just how dangerous it is. Let's bring in retired NYPD Inspector Paul Morrow, who has more information on this device that was found. So it was a homemade device, Paul, but not necessarily a cheesy one, in other words.
No, not at all, John. And I have to tell you, having done about 15 years worth of this kind of work, counterterrorism work, this is a bit of a game changer. First of all, let me start by saying New York City got extremely lucky yesterday. TATP is enormously volatile. It is not very stable. It's extremely powerful. And it is the footprint, and if you go by past events, of serious bombing attacks. The London 7/7 attacks, Richard Reed's attempt on a plane. Many of us remember the Ariana Grande attacks outside the Manchester Arena. These are situations where you're well into double figures of people killed, never mind injured. So this was a very, very serious attempt, much more serious, I would argue, than it likely seemed to many right initially. And as to why they didn't detonate, in light of the fact that they were charged the way they were, is going to be something I'm sure that the federal authorities are going to be looking at very closely as they investigate these two perps.
Yeah, and hats off to the New York City Police Department for running in and stopping those attacks.
So the ingredients in these devices happens to be, according to the NYPD, the commissioner, Jessica Tisch, released a statement today confirming that indeed these are real devices. And according to the FBI and authorities, these are the types of devices that cause massive damage and death. And this was right outside the mayor's residence on Saturday. So among the people that have been arrested, the two that are believed to have thrown these devices, two pro-Muslim demonstrators radicalized here in America. Of course, this is a story that's going to be changing, but, on the hour. But we are looking at a city on edge. Mayor Mamdani and his wife, she, with her social media as a private citizen, liked a post, and we see all your telephone calls. We're about to begin with them. Liked a post calling October 7th Hamas rapes of Israelis a mass hoax. This is now the First Lady of New York City. Adding insult to injury, listen to how her husband, The mayor minimizes this.
Their leadership is just rapidly going. Everybody that seems to want to be a leader, they end up dead. And it's an amazing thing that's taking place before your eyes, because for 47 years we were pushed around, and we shouldn't have been. And I think I can say, and you see it as well as I do, you see the tremendous progress that's being made. Their missiles are being wiped out rapidly. Their launchers are being wiped out. They're attacking.
So that's President Trump, obviously, on the situation in Iran. And, politically, I'm going to come back to Mamdani in a second. I just don't understand what Iran is doing to take the Ayatollah's son and make him the new supreme leader when America is bombing, and rightfully so, every day. And you just heard the president say that their leaders keep ending up dead. And so this man has a mark on his head on day one of his administration. Now, to Mamdani defending his wife.
Is it anybody's business, and is it fair to question you about it?
My wife is the love of my life, and she's also a private person who has held no formal position on my campaign or in my city hall. I, however, was elected to represent all 8.5 million people in the city, and I believe that it's my responsibility, because of that role, to answer any questions about my thoughts and my policies and my decisions.
Thank you.
So you voted for him. You believed that he was going to be good for the city, or at least with the help of another candidate, he was able to win City Hall. And that candidate ought to be ashamed of themselves and needs to bury his head in the sand, because this is what we're left with because of that candidate. But I'm not going to focus on him. It's despicable that the mayor of New York City would answer something as serious as this with that type of response, like his wife has no responsibility. She is the first lady of New York City. The first lady of New York City. 800-848-9222. I'm going to get to the fact that it's Women's History Month in just a moment, and we're honoring someone that's very special around here and does an awful lot for America. Her name is Margot Katzimatidis, one of the greatest people that you could ever meet. We're going to get to her in just a minute or two. But first, I want to get in one or two of your telephone calls. Let's start with line one, Malik in Queens. What's on your mind, Malik?
Well, I was thinking, there's been 13 bases hit, 4 embassies, 3 hotels containing CIA and military command, and we're told only 7 casualties.
Okay, Malik, it says here you wanted to talk about the pipe bomb and the protesters.
Oh, absolutely. As far as that guy, I think his name is Nick something. Well, he was.
And so, wait a minute. So you think that the American military would lie about casualties? Are you serious, Malik?
I think Trump would.
Malik. What's the point you want to make about Gracie Mansion? Because you're wasting my time right now.
Why is it wasting your time?
Malik, make your point or you'll be cut off.
Okay, I didn't know it was a deposition.
Okay, you're done. You're done.
Dominic is done with you.
Let's go to Vinny in New Jersey. Vinny, folks, let me say this up front. It is a very serious night with a lot of news going on. A lot. On the world stage and locally. I don't need to hear from nuts that are against Trump spousing some rhetoric that makes no sense. We had 2 bomb devices thrown a little more than 24 hours ago at protesters at the mayor's residence that, thank God, did not go off. It could have been mass casualties. All those police officers that were standing right there. And you want to call me on something talking about anti-Trump? There's a time and a place for everything. And this is not the time. Vinny, New Jersey, line 5. What's on your mind, Vinny?
Dominic, my wife is the love of my life. Your wife, who I met in Nutley, and your beautiful son, they're the loves of your life. okay? But my wife is not running around like a jackass, and you got a wonderful wife. This is disgusting.
Right.
That's how
right.
I feel.
Well, the mayor did say that his wife is the love of his life as well, but I just find it utterly disgusting, his response. I mean,
Right.
I knew there was a reason why he hid her from the campaign. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And we're only into the third month of his tenure. Thank you so much, Vinny, for the telephone call. Let's go to Wendy, line 1, Long Island. Wendy, what's on your mind?
Yeah, hey there. You really had him pegged and the wife, that's for sure. So, you know what? I think that when his wife becomes pregnant, she should be forced to watch an unending loop of a pregnant woman who was grabbed, and her belly was cut open, the baby taken out, shown to her, and then they were both killed. That's what she liked.
You know what, Wendy, what I don't understand about this whole thing, about the First Lady, then private citizen liking these tweets? You have women right now, Israeli women, that have babies where they were raped by these savages. And when you think about how despicable it is, how twisted it is, they raped them with the intention of getting them pregnant. So you got a choice. Either you have an abortion or you have the baby of one of these animals. And so how could you think this is a hoax? I mean, you have women that were pregnant and raped, have talked about it, and how could you say that it is a hoax? Wendy, you have the last word. Go right ahead.
Okay. How could we let these people immigrate into our country?
That's a good question. And we could take all night to answer that one. That's a very good question. Wendy, thank you very much for the telephone call. I want to focus something now. I see all your calls. We're going to get right back to them. And we're following all these stories very closely live at this hour. I want to focus on the fact that it is Women's History Month.
March is Women's History Month, spotlighting trailblazing women across industries and eras, honoring contributions of women throughout history.
Today, we honor Margot Katzimatidis. Margot Katzimatidis is an American businesswoman, philanthropist, and civic leader known for her active involvement in charitable and political initiatives. She has supported numerous nonprofit organizations focused on healthcare, education, and community development. Her philanthropic work reflects a commitment to strengthening local communities and supporting families in need. In addition to her charitable efforts, she's been active in civic engagement and political fundraising, helping shape conversations around public policy and community leadership. Katzimatidis represents the important role that private citizens and business leaders can play in public life. She has been a visible supporter of New York City's cultural institutions and frequently helps organize high-profile charity events that bring together business and political leaders.
Celebrating Women's History Month.
And let me say this, as we look at Women's History Month, I don't know anybody that works harder than Margot Katzimatidis and John Katzimatidis. And I kid you not, folks. I'm like a cub trying to keep up with their schedules, and I work very hard. She does an awful lot every year. She's all about giving back. And every year she's up there, pal, a billionaire on 119th Street in Harlem. She doesn't come with 1 million people in security surrounding her. You know why? Because she's secure in the community. And the community knows her, and the community is not going to hurt her because the community knows that she has their back. That's the type of lady that Margot Katzimatidis is. And so she appeared just the other day on Greg Kelly's show, my colleague Greg Kelly, and she brought her husband as well with her to the interview, Mr. Katzimatidis. And I was listening to the interview again early this morning, and I even became a bit emotional listening to the whole thing about why she does what she does. But I want you to listen to 2 clips here before we reset at the bottom of the hour. This is Margot Katzimatidis, John Katzimatidis, appearing with Greg Kelly.
Thank you very much. I'm not used to accolades.
Well, you deserve them.
I always like to work behind the scenes and do what God sends me to do and to try to help people and make a difference in their lives. And I've always done that.
Well, you've got a backup, you got a partner in all of this, John Katzimatidis.
Absolutely.
Standing by at the ready if we need him.
I'm only here as a backup.
Right.
Because Margot has been with me for 54 years, 55 years maybe, and she's always been there for me as a backup. So when she was doing this interview with you, Greg, she says, I want you to be there as a backup. She was there 54 years ago. She would pack up the groceries in one of our stores. She would make sure that the cashiers were doing anything out. She's been there for 54 years, and I love her, and I support her, and I'm there for her.
Wow.
So I'm here because she's always been here for me.
Well, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful indeed. Well, I want to go into a couple of things here about your professional accomplishments, but first, von der Sar. I just found that out. That's your maiden name.
That's my stepfather's name, and he raised me.
How
I was about 9.
Prestigious. What is it? Swiss? What is that?
Dutch.
Dutch.
Dutch, yes.
Tell us a little bit about your stepdad.
John.
Pardon?
Talk about my dad.
Your dad?
Von der Sar dad.
Von der Sar, he was a very, very smart man. He lived in the Keys for many years. He did all the he did a lot of I guess he had his boats and he took people around. He was a guided tourist.
Yes.
And you know something? He loved Florida. And the first time I went to Florida is when they moved down to Florida in 1980. And he says to me, you have to invest in Naples. And then I didn't listen to him. And then he said, you have to invest in St. Pete. And if I would have listened to her father, whatever money I have now, I would have had 10 times more.
Well, hey, better late than never, because now you got all kinds of investments down
but
there.
John has been so kind that he's erecting a statue of my parents in front of the tallest building on the west coast of Florida in St. Petersburg.
We built the tallest condominium on the west coast of all of Florida.
That's so...
And we're putting a statue of him and Margot's mom right at the front entrance of that iconic tower in St. Petersburg. So they'll be standing there waiting for everybody to come in for the next 100 years that tower is going to be up. And folks, when I say that this lady, Margot Katzimatidis, if she's with you, she's with you. Trust me when I tell you, folks, the real deal. Mrs. Katzimatidis and her husband appearing with Greg Kelly just the other day as we honor and celebrate Women's History Month. She also talked about, in that appearance, the advice that she gives to other women.
All right, Margot, when you meet a young woman, say, right out of high school, and let's say maybe she goes to college, maybe she doesn't go to college, maybe she... What is your advice? What is your advice to young women as they enter either further schooling or academia, as they enter adulthood, I should say?
You have to always believe in yourself. You have to follow your dreams. If you're not quite clear, God gives you a message that you can take the road to the right, the road in the middle, or the road in the left. You have to use your own intuition to follow that road to see if that is meant for you. And at that stage, you're young enough to switch lanes if you want to. But always believe in yourself that you can accomplish anything and learn anything. So never be afraid.
Never be. I love the advice for anybody, whether they're young or old. By the way, were you the youngest person to be asked to join the Bolshoi?
Yes, I was
ballet?
actually 11 and a half years old.
How does that work? How did that happen?
It was pretty cool.
Well, the Bolshoi, those guys are from Russia. They're the best dancers in the world.
Yeah, it's the first time they came to America. And my sister and I were in the audition with 100 other kids. But they chose me and my sister. And I will never forget that performance. I was right in the very front because I was the smallest.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that evening. It was spectacular.
And so, Mrs. Katzimatidis, we will have more in her next hour. All I can say is on behalf of all the children of New York City, especially the Police Athletic League. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you do around here for all of us. And I've told this story before, folks. When I first started here at WABC, I was in a meeting, a lot of people in the room, and Mrs. Katzimatidis stood up and she said, Dominic, we haven't, and these were her words verbatim almost, because I remember them. She said, we haven't owned the station very long, but bear with us. You're part of our family, and you're going to have a role here. And, you get used to hearing these types of things. And I was like, okay, well, and this lady has kept her word on each and everything that she said to me, her husband. When I say to you folks, and I'm not saying this because they own the station. I'm saying it because they're the real deal. And when you talk to them, you don't even realize you're talking to billionaires because you'll never outwork them on anything. Trust me when I tell you, because I've tried, right? Their days from start to finish. But anyway, we're going to focus on Mrs. Katzimatidis again next hour as we look at Women's History Month. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to reset with all the major breaking news that's going on. And in this half hour, we'll bring you part of our conversation with a legendary boxer. His name is Bobby Ches, world champion in many different classes as a boxer. And he fought Evander Holyfield, but he's now in the fight of his life against cancer. And he tested as one of the smartest 2% of people on the planet. All of that is coming up.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Talk Radio 77 WABC. Breaking news, WABC.
And we are continuing to follow the very disturbing news that happened near Gracie Mansion just yesterday. But this is a story that is going to be headlines for days. There's a possibility that the feds may announce charges as early as tomorrow. What are we talking about? The devices thrown at that Gracie Mansion protest Saturday have been determined to be highly dangerous IED capable of serious injury or death. The police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, confirmed that in a statement today. And Saturday, she rushed to the scene, two competing groups protesting. And among those arrested, two pro-Muslim demonstrators have been taken into custody. And, this thing is a mess, folks. And the bomb squad on location, the bomb robot going up to a car, a search warrant tonight in Pennsylvania at one of the homes associated with this. And the feds are involved. The police commissioner of New York City.
The devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit. A counter-protester, identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area, landing in the crosswalk of East 87th Street and East End Avenue. Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers. Mr. Balat then ran southbound on East End Avenue toward 86th Street and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. Officers immediately secured the area, and they took both men into custody. At this time, we do not yet know whether the devices were functional improvised explosive devices or hoax devices, because we don't yet know if there was energetic material contained in them. In total, 6 arrests were made today in connection with the events. Those arrests include the 2 individuals responsible for handling and deploying the devices, the individual who used pepper spray earlier in the protest, and additional arrests related to disorderly conduct and obstructing traffic.
And so that was the commissioner with police brass on location right outside of Gracie Mansion Saturday. Today, she issued a statement confirming that, yes, the devices are the highly dangerous ones capable of serious injury or death. So the bomb squad has been up on the Upper East Side, working nonstop, trying to deal with this situation. And it's one that's it's almost like a worst case scenario. But the good news is, at least the silver lining, if one is to be found, is no one was injured. They did not go off. 800-848-9222. We see all your telephone calls. In a few minutes, we're going to get to my interview with Bobby Ches, the legendary New Jersey boxer in the fight of his life, battling cancer. Let's go to line 4, Max in Manhattan. Max, good evening. What's on your mind?
Dominic, thank you for taking my call. I say that you take these 2 kids who one comes from Afghanistan, the other one from Turkey, from what I've read. You take them and their family, and you send them back where they came from.
Well, you can't send them back. They're going to jail. They're probably going to federal jail. So go ahead.
I mean, but which one allows more of these, which type of a punishment or lack of punishment allows more of these things to happen?
I don't understand, Max, what you're trying to express there.
Well, if we're saying we'll just send them back, would that make it less possible for future?
No. You can't. No. What the best way to, if you mean the best way to penalize somebody, is to send them to federal prison. There's a strong possibility they'll be looking at federal charges this time tomorrow. 24-hour possibility, not guaranteed, but the FBI is involved. They have been on location. It's a really bad and serious situation. And just imagine where those devices were. A lot of people were in that area. You could see people running as it went off. And just imagine all of those cops that were standing there if one of these bombs would have gone off. Max, thank you so much for the great telephone call. Let's go to Joe, line 1, Trenton, New Jersey, on this busy Sunday night. Joe, what's on your mind?
Dominic, on Domi's comment about his love of his life, if he was so loving towards his wife, why didn't he have her take down her like of that post? And number 2, you can only imagine what those 2 were talking about when they're together, because he didn't denounce what she did either.
No, he didn't. And it's very interesting. That's a good point, Joe. You're very observant. He did not denounce what she put up. In other words, the mayor is telling us each and every day what he thinks of us, and he's not, to his credit, he's not backing up from his positions. I find them to be despicable. but he is not backing up at all from his positions. Thank you so much for the call, Joe. We see all your other calls, but what I want to do right now, folks, is I want to switch gears. We're going to come back to all the breaking news because there is a lot of news going on at this hour on a Sunday night. I want to switch and focus on a boxer, right? Now, but this is not a boxing story. This is a story about a fellow human like the rest of us that's gone through ups and downs in life. Now, his name is Bobby Ches, and he's a boxer from New Jersey. He's won world championships in many different weight categories, right? He's also tested, I think it's Mensa Society, 2% part of the 2% of the smartest people on the entire planet. And he's a member of this organization. He's dealt with death in terms of his ex-wife dying, and he said it was the worst day of his life. And he's fighting another battle now. He says he's going to beat. He's dealing with cancer. But the biggest fight that he's had, and I want you to listen to in his word, the biggest fight that he had happened to be against a fighter that a lot of people know, and that is Evander Holyfield.
Here comes Holyfield again, but this time Bobby Ches is landing right back with him.
Is he too tired to sit down and then get back up? What's going on? And the fact that
terrific left hand uppercut.
Bobby Ches, I wanted to speak to you because you have had a world champion boxing career and a remarkable life. I want to start this way. If I just throw out the term boxing, what comes to your mind?
Well, boxing is basically it's kind of like self-defense, but you're doing it here now as a sport, and you're doing it for a living. So it's a little bit different. It means a lot.
And so when you're doing boxing for a living, what exactly does that entail?
Well, basically, if you don't win a lot, you don't get paid a lot.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. If you're losing almost every fight, no one's gonna want to see you. No one's gonna want to pay attention, and you're not gonna get paid.
So, and you went to the very top. Define the very top of boxing for you.
Well, I won 3 world championships in 6 different weight divisions, and that's the first time it's ever been done in the state of New Jersey ever.
Wow.
Pretty interesting.
Wow. Now, what divisions did you fight in?
I fought as a middleweight, super middleweight, won world titles at light heavyweight, cruiserweight, super cruiserweight, and then fought as a heavyweight.
You fought as a heavyweight? I
fought Evander Holyfield.
You fought Evander Holyfield?
Yes, I did.
And what was that like?
It wasn't as bad as I thought, but the fight turned out to be really strange because he put something on his gloves. I tested before you go for a physical. My vision was 20/15 in both eyes 2 days before the fight. The day after the fight it was 20/40, 20/50. He had put something on his gloves. I found out 2 years later from police department there was Tabasco sauce. That really irritated me pretty much.
He has something in his eye. He's saying there's a liniment in his eye.
Burning like crazy. Burning like crazy. Let the man look. Both sides. Let the man look.
Sometimes you got to listen to your chief corner man.
Yeah, Ches is complaining that he has a burning sensation in his eyes.
Shades of Cassius Clay versus Sonny Liston in Miami Beach.
And that's to give that boxer, and even though it's illegal, an edge in the fight because you can't see.
Exactly.
So you're telling me basically that Evander Holyfield, who would later fight Mike Tyson, saw you as a threat?
The very next fight, after he fought me, he fought Tyson. The very next fight.
Wow.
Right, and Mike Tyson saw that that Holyfield did not have a good performance against me, so he didn't. I don't think he trained as hard as he should have.
Wow. So, I'm being personal, but so what's the biggest purse you ever earned as a professional boxer?
Against Holyfield, $350,000.
$350,000. How much did he make for that fight?
I have no idea.
Wow.
I don't know his business. He knows his business. That's just what it is.
$350,000. And so, and then you still have to pay your team out of that amount.
Yeah, sure.
And so a fight like that against Evander Holyfield, how much do you get to walk away with?
Well, that depends on the tax bracket that you're in, and what in a number of different things. How savvy you are with the IRS, but 10% right off the top, $35,000 goes to my trainer. My cut man gets a piece. My sparring partners, I paid them up front to get me ready for the fight, and then you got to pay Uncle Sam, and so what's left over is yours.
And so Uncle Sam basically takes half, a little more. You walk away with a little more than half,
something like that.
Wow! So it's not as much money as people think.
Exactly. Everybody thinks it's the big money. That's monstrous amounts of money, but it's not.
So you fought Evander Holyfield. What is it like to train as a boxer for a big time fight? And is that because that part I would hate that, training for months for a fight?
Well, the training will break down into probably about 6 weeks. The first 2 weeks you're getting yourself ready for going to camp. Then the last 4 weeks you'll be in a training camp where you're running 5 to 6, 7 miles a day, 6 days a week. And then you're in the gym for 2 hours, and then you're doing your own stuff as far as exercising and conditioning yourselves and practicing things and studying his fights, studying his style. There are a whole lot to it that people don't see.
Is it like in the movie with Rocky, what he would do?
That's not really how it would. It's not really how it would work. No, that doesn't work like that.
Okay, so tell me how it works. In comparison
how it
to
works.
Rocky.
All right, you get up in the morning and you run your 5, 6, 7 miles, whatever it is that you run. You come back to your house, you relax for a little while. You do some exercises. You maybe watch tapes of it, because you want to get his style in your head constantly and have your body trained so it just reacts almost like a reflex. When he throws a punch, you know where it's going and where it's coming from.
Almost like a robot.
Almost like a robot. Yeah, that's kind of a good way to put it. And then you relax. You have your breakfast. You have your lunch during the day. Then you go to the gym. Then you're in the gym for about give or take 2 hours, and you may spar with 3 or 4 different guys, one after another, fresh, to just to get yourself in condition. And hit the heavy bag. You'll do some shadow boxing. You'll do some speed bag. You'll jump rope. You'll do more exercises there too, just to get yourself and your body ready to go. And you'll increase it as the training camp goes on. But there's when you're in training camp, you're away from your family, you're away from your friends, you're away from everybody.
So Bobby Cheese Bobby Chez, excuse me. We're talking to Bobby Chez, a remarkable boxer who won a number of boxing titles, fought Evander Holyfield, has lived truly a remarkable life. We all have ups and downs. He's went through his. And I wanted to talk to him because the guy really is very, very interesting. And this is what I mean about you're very interesting. So you are one of the smartest boxers ever, right? And I'm not just stating that. It's been documented. Tell us why.
Well, yeah, there was one other fighter named Henry Milligan who was a member of Mensa, but he didn't win a world title, but he still competed as a professional fighter. I'm the only world champion in history from any weight division in any country, anywhere ever, to be a member of Mensa.
And Mensa means the very
top 2% of the smartest people on the planet.
Wait a minute, Bobby Chez. You're telling me that you're 2% of the American people in terms of the smartest ever?
2% of the entire world.
Oh, not just the American people, of the entire world.
2% of the smartest people on the planet.
So you're born like that. A person is born like that.
I guess so. I don't know. I can't define that. I don't know where that comes from. But that's what it is. Top 2% of the smartest people on the planet is member of Mensa.
And when did you know that you had these types of intellectual abilities?
Well, throughout high school, I had certain scores where it said your IQ's 132, your IQ's 135, your IQ's... And some of my friends said, that's genius area. Then one of my friends said, we want to try for Mensa. I'd never even heard of Mensa. So, and this is going back. I tried out for Mensa in 1993. And they said, you can only take it you can only take the test one time. They'll never let you take it twice.
Wow.
One time only. and then they'll tell you. Now you could have other tests that qualify. That if you submitted, if you took a test that had the value of what Mensa considers to be legitimate, if you score a certain score on that, that also can be considered yes. And lucky enough, I scored in the 130s.
So you're of the 2% of the entire world of the smartest people.
Yeah, that's what they say.
You don't seem like you're impressed by that.
I'm impressed by it, but at the same time, I'm still me. I have my friends. I know what I'm not. It doesn't make me any better than anybody else. I mean, technically, it makes me smarter than most people, but it's. I mean, I'm proud of it. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm not better than anybody else.
We are chatting with a legendary boxer, Bobby Chez, who lives in New Jersey, had a number of titles as the champion. So tell me about your life.
My life is a little difficult to explain. My father was very hard on me and my brothers. So for years, it was only me, my two brothers, and then eventually my sister came along when I was 16. But at the same time, when I was 10, and my brother Vince was 9, my brother Tony was 7, my father, we moved from East Orange to Wanacue, the nice suburbs and whatnot. But he took us, anyway, my mom took us after school to Patterson every day to train in the gym in Patterson. My father picked us up after work, took us home. But he forced us to fight. It was not an option. He forced all three of us to fight. And I said to him, for how long? He said, till I say so.
And that's Bobby Chez. And what he goes on to explain there is that his father, Bobby Chez, happens to be a white fighter, and his dad made him go to a gym, and boxing was not an option, a gym with all African-American fighters. And Bobby Chez says he learned how to fight like an African-American boxer. And so coming up, what we're going to do is take a break right now. Coming up next hour, we're going to focus again on Women's History Month. We're going to obviously reset all the major breaking news that's going on. And about this time next hour, we'll bring you the final part of our interview with him, where he talks about battling cancer, what so many Americans have to deal with. And now a world champion boxer. He won many categories. He's in the fight of his life against cancer. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are continuing to follow the story as it relates to the devices thrown at that Gracie Mansion protest, determined to be highly dangerous IED, capable of serious injury or death. 2 pro-Muslim demonstrators among those are arrested. The feds are now working with the NYPD. There are reports that federal charges could come as early as from hours from now on Monday. We'll see what happens. Let's go back to your telephone calls. Dominic Carter here with you, 800-848-9222. Silas, line 3, Staten Island. What's on your mind, Silas?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the brilliance of Donald Trump when they were saying, why is he treating Mandami so nice? And they're just saying he's falling all over him. That was so he could not use that as a trap. If he had came at him and started, saying he's a this or that or a cockroach or whatever, the news and everybody else would have just said, they would have focused on that. Instead, he treated him nice, said he'd help him out, do whatever he could, and now Mandami has to stand up and face his failure. And all of his followers have to say, well, he didn't come through with any of his promises, and Donald Trump didn't say anything about him. It was great that Sid Rosenberg apologized to him, because now they can't make the comments the news. Now they have to just face the issue. So he can't say, well, he called me names and stuff like this, and then all of his followers say, see if he wasn't so mean to him. No, Donald Trump was perfectly congenial, smiling, happy, related to him.
And we'll see what happens. I got to take a break, Silas, so I have to step in. I'm sorry. And we'll see what happens as the relationship continues. But as it relates to Gracie Mansion, Mayor Mamdani was inside Gracie Mansion at the time with his wife. Thankfully, they did not suffer any injuries during the incident. Again, 2 men have been arrested for this. Among the arrests, coming up, news headlines, Liz Radabali. I'll be joining her right now.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter. Breaking news.
Everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
A bomb, bro? Yo, he threw a bomb? Yo, did he throw a bomb, bro? Nice. That shit stinks. That shit stinks. Bomb, bro? Yo, stinks. You know wasn't me, though. That was crazy. He threw an Allah Akbar cocktail at y'all. That was some bro. And y'all.
Nothing was funny about it. The situation. Dominic Carter here with you, 800-848-9222. From around the country, what we're referring to is a city on edge. New York City, yet again on edge. A protest held Saturday, about a little more than 24 hours ago, right outside the mayor's residence on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, Gracie Mansion. 2 competing protests. Thrown from one side happens to be 2 highly dangerous, what we know now, IED devices, according to the police commissioner of New York City, which are capable of serious injury or death. 2 pro-Muslim demonstrators are among those arrested, and now the feds are involved, working with the NYPD on this case. Federal charges could come as early as today. 800-848-9222. New York City spent most of the day seeing the bomb squad on the Upper East Side with the robot so that no human life is lost. The robot going up to a vehicle, which believed the vehicle one of the men was in, smashing the window so that the authorities via a camera could get a look inside. The police commissioner of New York City, Jessica Tisch.
12:38 p.m., a counter-protester identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area, landing in the crosswalk of East 87th Street and East End Avenue. Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers. Mr. Balat then ran southbound on East End Avenue toward 86th Street and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. Officers immediately secured the area and they took both men into custody. This was all captured on NYPD Argus camera. The bomb squad responded and examined the devices. Based on preliminary examination and X-ray imaging, the devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit.
And so you could see in the video where one of the devices is thrown into in the middle of the street between two blocks, and you see smoke coming from the device, and you see officers realize what it is, and they're trying to immediately get away from it. Now, with bolts and screws and nuts, imagine what would have happened if that thing went off. And it reminds me, and this is kind of eerie, it reminds me, the second device, it reminds me of the Boston Marathon bombers. Now, their bombs were, at least one of them, in backpacks. But the commissioner described this as like a football. And you see right next to a barricade, the same way in Boston, the device is down on the floor. It would have caused major damage had those things gone off. Another story we're following at this hour. The Ayatollah's son has been named as Iran's next supreme leader. Now, prior to this announcement being made, President Trump was asked to give an idea of what he considers unconditional surrender, what it would look like.
Can you give us an idea of what unconditional surrender looks like to you? I mean, what do you want from Iran?
I said unconditional, not conditional. I said unconditional. It's where they cry uncle, or when they can't fight any longer, there's nobody around to cry uncle. That could happen too, because we've wiped out their leadership numerous times already. So it's if they surrender, or if there is nobody around to surrender, but they're rendered useless in terms of military.
And let's start with your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. Line 3, Anthony in Pittsburgh. Good morning, Anthony. What's on your mind?
Oh, Dominic, well, what's happening to the Big Apple? I mean, go back to when Mayor Adams let the illegal aliens take over the Roosevelt Hotel. We have people set on fire on the subway. Then this clown gets elected. This anti-American clown gets elected. And every week there's some new catastrophe, like the snowball fight, the almost bombing that occurred. And I'm reading on X, Jessica Tish's post, and she was given a serious account. She sounded upset. She sounded really ticked off. And then I read Donnie's post, and he's crying about white supremacy. What is it with this clown?
Okay, now wait a minute, Anthony, because I haven't seen his latest post. What do you mean the mayor's crying about white supremacy? That
the original protest that was outside Gracie Mansion, I guess he claims it was organized by some white supremacist.
And that's what he's posting?
Yes.
Wow. The mayor of the entire city?
Yep. That's what I saw on X.
Well, I've been on air, so I haven't had a chance to look as of late, but this is all very disturbing. Very disturbing. Anthony, thank you for the great telephone call. Let's go to line 2, Norman in Brooklyn. Good morning, Norman. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic. Yes, I got a client who lives like 3 blocks from there on York and 83rd. So, I'm in that area quite a bit, even when I'm not training them anyway. But basically, this is a very concerning situation, basically because this is not some black powder or something, somebody, emptying some easily obtained black powder. This is some sort of a chemical which, at least from what I've heard, that it's not easily obtainable. It's through some sort of the terrorist, some sort of sophisticated terrorist connection there to get this thing. So, yeah, I'm concerned about it.
Well, I mean, Norman, I don't know what to think here. The city just elected its first Muslim American mayor. I mean, I don't know. I'm believe it or not, I'm sort of speechless. I'm just very fearful for all of us of what could happen at any time. And why would they pick a protest to do this? I mean, you've attended many protests. Is it that disturbing? I mean, does one side hate the other side that much?
They hate them that much, but this could be an outside influence. Listen, why protest? Any grouping of people where you have a large amount of quote unquote infidels to kill is a target. So I understand why they would do it there, because it makes a statement to kill a lot of people. Same as a concert, a ball game, anything, a movie theater. Any grouping, these are things. I still find it amazing. And in 2026, I walk into a movie theater and nobody goes through my bag. I walk in there with a gym bag. I walk into a movie theater on the Upper East Side, Upper West Side, whatever, because I work in a gym. So I'm always, carrying a gym bag. And nobody goes through that. That doesn't happen in Israel. In Israel, before you go into a movie theater, they go through your bag. That's just the way it's done. Or you go into a mall, any place. But we live in the U.S. here. We live basically very free, and we don't want people going through our bags. It's just striking that, but we're easy targets. We're terrorists.
Yes. Norman, thank you for the great call. Let's go to line 4. John in Hell's Kitchen. John, good morning. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic. I know I'm preaching to the choir. We need the anti-street crime units back, Dominic. We need the dark cars with the dark windows that are prowling the streets and watching all the movement. I know you live up in Rockland County, and you're probably not on the street as much as you used to be in New York. I'm out here every day, and like Norman and like a lot of your callers, I can see it, I can feel it, I can smell it, and it's going to get to a point that we either have to, they either have to find a way to get rid of this guy Mondami because he's burying himself, as you well know, and number 2, Trump's going to have to lock this city down because there is going to be a disaster. You can feel it, Dominic. You can feel it. It's like you can smell it. And it's gotten to the point now where you couldn't find a cop in this neighborhood. I was out today because it was a gorgeous day in the sun. I didn't see one cop in 8 hours. We need presence on the street. When Ray Kelly and Bloomberg and these guys were here, they had people out that were trained to look for these people, to look for the telltale. And you just asked Norman a good question. Back in the day, and you know this, Dominic, if you were to protest, you were to get a permit. You had to get police. You had to get protection. Now these people just do it wherever they want. You don't know who the hell they are.
When they want to.
When they want, yeah. It's unbelievable. And, I got to tell you, I haven't talked to you in a long time, and the last time I did talk to you, we spoke about this very thing, the anti-street crime unit. This guy wants to get away with SRG, do away with SRG. They're the people that we need. He wants to do away with the anti-street crime. He wants to cut the cops down. He's pushing the cops away. So that's going to leave us in a city here, Dominic, where we're either going to have to start defending ourselves or taking action when we see it because it's imminent.
I hear you, John. I got to take a break. Thank you for the wonderful call. Street crimes unit coming back, not going to happen. The mayor's looking to cut the NYPD. That's just not going to happen. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter. Breaking news.
Headline: New York City devices thrown at a Gracie Mansion protest Saturday. That's the mayor's residence here in New York City, determined to be highly dangerous IED devices capable of serious injury or death. We are continuing this half hour to take your telephone calls. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll switch to Women's History Month and some other things. But right now, let's continue with your calls. Let's go to Alice, line 2, Long Island. Good morning, Alice.
Good morning. I listen to your program often, and I hear all the terrible things that are happening. I just want to suggest why don't we get rid of the mayor? There's a long process, and the only way we can actually do it is by a recall by the governor.
Well, therein lies the problem, Alice. She's got to get reelected this year. You think she's going to blow her reelection on Mamdani?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what we're going to do.
No, but what Alice, listen to what I'm saying to you.
I hear you.
She's not going to blow her election on Mamdani. If she goes after him, she can kiss the governor's mansion goodbye.
Yes, but maybe that's a year from now. That's fine.
No. Alice, I want you to think like a politician for a second. And I'm going to repeat it. Do you think she's going to blow her job by doing the right thing and getting rid of Mamdani? Not going to happen in a million years.
We're using a lot of time and a lot of aggravation. I'm just encouraging us to think about it and start writing letters or start texting.
You should always write letters, but have you heard her say one critical thing of him since he's been in office?
No.
And you're not going to.
That's the case. But how can we change the tenor and use your time?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Alice. The only chance you had was when there was 3 candidates left in the mayor's race, and one sold out the city. There's nothing you can do, Alice. And
you don't have to wait another 4 years.
Yes, you do. Thank you for the call, Alice. Let's go to Lisa, Nutley, New Jersey. Lisa, good morning, young lady. How are you?
And you kind of beat me to the punch over there. I was going to say this is going to be interesting to see how Kathy Hochul handles all this. This could either make her or break her, but I think she's boxed herself in.
Well, as I just said to the last caller, Alice, but I don't think she wants to hear it. No. What I'm trying to explain, Lisa, there's nothing that can be done. There is nothing, unless Mamdani, and this is a hypothetical, gets caught with a bag with $8 million in the bag. There is nothing, Kathy Hochul. You see, she's with him every chance she gets. She cares about her reelection, and once he won this election, we're stuck with this guy, and he knows it. So what do you think should happen, Lisa?
Well, you know what? All we can do is sit back and watch. Her opponent can take great advantage of this, but you're right. She will not risk her political career for not getting reelected. And she'll stay silent. I think she'll stay silent as long as she can, or she'll avoid it. But she's not going to risk it. She'll want to get reelected, and she will just... I think she'll go under the radar. She'll fly under the radar, but whoever's running against her, they could really take this and run. But she's not going to do the right thing by the people of New York. Absolutely not.
Thank you, Lisa, for the wonderful call. Lisa being the great person that she is. We're in a pickle, folks, in New York City. We have a socialist mayor with a movement, if you will, that's behind him. He's elected for the next 3 years and 8 months, 8 or 9 months, 8 months. And this is the situation. Coming up, we're going to focus on Women's History Month, and we're going to continue with your telephone calls.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter. Breaking news.
And we are continuing to follow the devices thrown at that Gracie Mansion protest determined to be highly dangerous IEDs capable of serious injury or death. Words have consequences. And in a moment, we're going to focus on Women's History Month. One of the owners of this network, Margot Katzimatidis, does an awful lot to help a lot of people. She appeared on one of my colleagues' show the other day. We'll let you hear part of that conversation. But the mayor of New York City, New York's first Muslim American mayor, and apparently put out a statement referring to one side of the protest as being led by a white supremacist, but had nothing to say about the 2 pro-Muslim demonstrators that have been arrested for allegedly throwing these devices. So how do you focus on one side and not focus on the other? And then a story that we did here in New York on Friday, his wife, he was a candidate at the time, October 7th happened, and she liked comments on Instagram that sided with the Palestinian cause. And this whole thing is a mess. 800-848-9222. Let's go to Steve in Elmont, line 5. Steve, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. Yeah, first I wanted to ask in regards to the two suspects that's been caught. What are the chances that this might actually get taken over by the federal government? Because I don't trust it in the city's hands.
I would say that there's a strong possibility that the feds are going to take over. There are indications that there may be federal charges as soon as later on today. So it looks like that's going to happen.
What I wanted to say about the wife in her comments, this city is put into a trance right now. Mandani is going to be here for a while, and he's part of that AOC and Bernie Sanders crew, and they're going to start just doing a clean sweep. Hochul better watch out. And I've even heard one of their supporters say that they want someone to run against Hakeem Jeffries for the 7th District in Brooklyn. They're just looking for anybody because he votes too many times and agrees with the Republicans, so they need to get rid of him. Hakeem Jeffries, who's been there since 96, you're going to just grab some snotty-nosed kid. And that's how cocky they are. He feels cocky enough to even say what he said, but I wonder, what if that was a comment against, and I'm going to play the race card, against a black woman? This is History Month for women. So what if she would have made something and say, oh, this or that, and it was something that was derogatory or offensive to black people? How would he wiggle out of that? Today, I think he can, because they're so in a trance right now. It's really a weird environment out there.
It is, Steve. Great call. Thank you very much for the call. Let's go to line 4. John in Brooklyn. Good morning, John. What's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. Listen, I think that it was mentioned before that you said why does they fight? Well, why is this all erupting? I think it had something to do. The protesters were motivated by that prayer that they had in 42nd Street, where after the prayer they went up in the bullhorn and it says we're taking over. So I think that's was sort of like what motivated these protesters.
Right, but that's still no excuse for IED devices that can cause death to be thrown and used. I mean, it sounds like to me they were looking for something to use their devices. And then it becomes a matter of we have these devices that are out there. What's next? What may be already lined up and ready to go? Thank you. Thank you for the call, John in Brooklyn. Let me do this, folks. Let me switch gears for a few minutes. It's Women's History Month. And one of the owners of the Red Apple Audio Networks happens to be Margot Katzimatidis. She is a woman that does so much for so many people. On the surface, yes, you could say billionaire, right? Okay, fine. Her and her husband. But she gives back. She works tirelessly. And if there's ever a person to be honored this month, it is Margot Katzimatidis. She appeared on the radio show of my colleague, Greg Kelly, and she was asked the question about her background and, in particular, why she gives back. And this is the part that got me a little emotional. I want you to listen to what she says in terms of why she gives back to so many.
You're from Indiana originally?
Indianapolis, yes.
Indianapolis, Indiana. And you come to the big city and you're in the grocery store, right? Essentially? What was the next move?
I was actually dancing and I got a scholarship. I got a contract for a Swiss ballet company. And I said, nope, this doesn't feel right. I'm not doing that because I had a bad knee. I already had 3 surgeries. So I came back and then I had other health issues and I had to get a job. And my father, Van der Sar, said, you need to learn something before you leave Indiana just in case you get hurt. So I learned how to type 90 words a minute because my mother could do 120. So, and she worked at a legal department in Bob's Merrill, which was a publishing company, and she was in the legal department. So she, really smart lady. But anyway, so I couldn't wait to come to New York. I wanted to come since I was 12, but I was too young. But I finally came, and I was injured, and I had to get a job. And there was this guy opening up a supermarket around the corner. I was taking care of my sister's son. And I went in, they said, you know, the owner doesn't have a secretary. And I said, sure, I could do that. So I went to his office. It was the summer. I had a corduroy suit and a turtleneck sweater. I had no clothes. I was a dancer. What do you want from me? So I go in and I said, you're the most disorganized person I have ever seen. So I started organizing his office. He didn't even hire me yet. But anyway, and then he said, you got the job. So
it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. You and John are incredibly generous to various philanthropic causes, and in big ways and in small and in ways that people can see, in ways that people can't see. I guess, look, you guys have been extraordinarily successful, and it's beautiful. What's the best part in being a giver? You guys give a lot. You give people jobs. You give people opportunity. You give people, quite frankly, a safety net. Certainly in the charity world, and you provide all kinds of things. What's the best part of being a philanthropist, I guess is my question.
When you give a person who has lost all hope, you give them hope, and that you believe in them, and that they too can make a difference in their own lives to help other people. And that is the most gratifying, especially the children and the students. We've given millions of dollars in scholarships to students, and now I'm seeing their grandchildren. Oh, I feel so old. But anyway, I see their grandchildren now, and they said, thank you. Without your help, I would never be where I am today. I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I'm this. I'm that. And because you believed in me. And that's what life is about. You have to believe in people to give them strength and courage to go on, even if they don't have it themselves. You have to help them. So in my life, I always help the young, the very young, and the elderly, and I believe in that. And most people in the middle can help themselves, except the students. They need a lot of help.
That's wonderful. Your backup man has something to say.
He does?
I was going to say that one of the things that Margot works very hard at, and she's worked hard at it for over 30 years, is I've been on the board of the Police Athletic League for 40 years. Mr. Morgenthau hired me and trained me in 1984. And Margot has created the holiday party, the Christmas party that we do every year for the kids. And we have 27 centers. And you know something? I work very hard at it. Margot works very hard at it. My daughter Andrea worked very hard at it. And, you know, I look at those kids and I say, I'm from Harlem. I made it. You can make it too. And your father, Ray Kelly, Commissioner Ray Kelly, would stand next to me, and we would look at 100 kids in that corner over there. And I would turn around to your dad and I would say to him, Ray, how many of those kids can we save? If there's 100 kids there, can we save 20? Can we save 30? Can we save 40? And I hope we could save all of them, but if we could save half of them, it's worth working hard.
And that's John Catsimatidis, one of the billionaire owners of this network. His wife, Margot Catsimatidis, the other owner. And Mrs. Catsimatidis, congratulations on being honored this month, Women's History Month. This is a woman that does so much for so many people, and I don't say that lightly. Dominic Carter here with you. We're following a number of stories. The Ayatollah, of course, is no longer with us in Iran. His son has been named a new leader. President Trump has already been on record stating that every new leader they come up with as of late, that person is taken out. We're dealing with that. We're dealing with the mayor of New York City, his wife, when she was a private citizen, making some very controversial posts on Instagram as it relates to October 7th against the Israeli people. and the mayor not denouncing his wife, not saying he's told her to take these things down. It's just very interesting. And, of course, the big story we're following, the devices thrown at a protest Saturday outside Gracie Mansion, which is where the mayor of New York City lives, two competing groups of protesters. And these are very serious devices. A number of arrests have been made. The feds are involved. Federal charges are expected. Let's go to Sarge, line 1, South Carolina. Good morning, sir. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, sir. I hope you can hear me all right.
I do.
Yes. I can't pronounce her name and all that, normally I'm pretty good with languages. I'm former staff sergeant, Air Force cop, used to be in Air Force Special Operations. Now I'm 100% service connected, disabled and all. But I wanted to say your owner, I really, really do thank her for what she does. And I want to wish her the very best. Happy International Women's Day. I met my wonderful wife about 40 years ago, 1988 in West Germany, and spent my honeymoon in Paris. She was also American Air Force and all that. And just to kind of make it, kind of a little homey and everything like that. She's from Alabama. Me, I'm a military kid, just traveled the world and back and everything. Pops did 30 years in the military, RBN Cross for gallantry and heroism, almost right below probably the Congressional Medal of Honor and all that. And I've seen a lot of the world. I've really been blessed and all that. And I didn't even know there was International Women's Day until I walked in the Kroger and, asked the dumb man question, to the reception. I said, when is it? She said, well, you haven't missed it, Sarge. She said, it's tomorrow. It's on the 8th and everything. And I said, well, my stars. I said, God good. And so I'm really grateful for International Women's Day and all that. And I'm not trying to down my president, not trying to be anti-patriotic because, like I said, I come from being an Air Force cop, special operations, tried to do the best I could for God and country. But I want to say that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And now maybe it is time for a woman president and all that. I don't say that lightly. I was in Washington State when the very first historical governor of Washington State, Dixie Lee Ray, occupied, that position. And then I was in Great Britain when Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, I was living over there when Pops was stationed over there, when she was. So now maybe it's time for the U.S. of A., Continental United States of America, to get a woman to occupy the White House.
Well, there you go. There you go, Sarge. I got to take a break. I don't mean to step in. I'm sorry, Sarge. You can give me a call another night. But a wonderful call. Time for a break. We're coming back with more of your telephone calls.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we are back, returning to your telephone calls on this busy news morning, 800-848-9222. Line 2, Rose in Queens. Good morning, Rose. What's on your mind?
Good morning. Well, I disagree that, that it's wrong to be pro-Palestinian. You could be against what Hamas did on October 7th. It was appalling. It was horrific. It was a massacre. It was evil. But you could still side with the plight of the Palestinians.
Wait. How is that, Rose? Explain to me.
Well, I'll tell you.
Because
they have been forced from their homeland, which is now Israel. Once it was all called Greater Syria. People lived and traveled
who has them?
that area freely.
Rose.
Then
take a breath, Rose.
Jordan,
take
Palestine,
a breath. Kill her, Mike, since you're not listening to me. I'm going to say again, take a breath, Rose, okay? Do you want to have a conversation or you just want to talk? Which one is it? Okay, so the fact that the Palestinian people have to live the way that they do, whose fault is that?
They're living in an apartheid territory.
No. Stop with the craziness. Whose fault is that? It's not
subjugated people.
Okay, so wait. So what role does Hamas play in that?
Well, Hamas is they're in a struggle for the rights of the Palestinian people.
So, okay, wait a minute. Rose. So by cutting off the limbs of innocent Israelis, by raping innocent Israeli women, by killing all those people the way that they did, they're in a fight for their freedom. That makes you feel better putting it that way?
That was wrong.
So we're just going to just minimize that part of the story.
No, I'm not minimizing it, but you're saying, how dare anyone side with the Palestinians?
I say drop a bomb on all of them. How about that? That's what I say.
All right, that's where I disagree with you. Then you're no better than you side with terrorism too. Israel is a terrorist state.
I've heard enough of this nonsense, Rose. Go talk to the mirror. Maybe you'll have a better conversation. Go talk to the mirror. I don't want to hear that ignorance anymore. Line 1, Sherman, Manhattan. Help me out, Sherman. What's on your mind here?
A few things. This lady that you just was speaking to, Rose, is a perfect example of how dangerous the world is. This lady is right. This lady is beyond reach. You can hear the self-righteous psychosis in her voice. You can't convince this lady that these animals, and I think Israel's being too nice. Sometimes you gotta do something that's really extreme to get things better. People claim they believe in God, but that God in the Bible has done a lot of very extreme things to get rid of bad people. I think Israel should just go for broke and drop an atomic bomb over there and just kill everybody, including the Palestinians. So just you got to reset the whole thing. And that's what I would personally do. Even if you got to make up an excuse for the greater good, destroy the whole place. This way you get rid of Hamas. Get rid of everyone, including the civilians over there. See, now, if I had to weigh, in my opinion, who's worth more in life, the Palestinians or the Israelis as a total, I'll take the Israelis. I would get rid of every single one of these people, all of them, including Hezbollah, every single one, women, men, children, elderly, young. I would get rid of all of them. That's how hardcore I am now with the hypocrisy and the double standard and how fake. This lady's evil on the phone with you, but she's got that phony nice voice where she sounds like she's a nice lady. This lady is a threat to the country. These are the type of people that are living amongst us who think that it's okay to, if soldiers got to fight it out, let them fight it out. But once you start raping women and you start killing kids, I have no sympathy. Again, Israel's being too nice, and that's why they're doing it to Israel the way they do, because people know when you're not serious. They got to kill everybody, including the civilians over there. My next point is, I don't like how men call in, or I hear men in general, they're so weak, and they think that, I'm going to say we need a woman president. It makes me a nice guy. I'm sympathetic. I have emotional. We need qualified people. I'm tired of hearing this nonsense about we need the first woman president. Hillary Clinton is a perfect example of how you can get caught up in that nonsense and end up with a terrible person. We need qualified people.
I agree with you, Sherman. You gave me a mouthful. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you for the call. We haven't heard from you in a while, stranger. Don't disappear on us. Sherman, thank you for the great call as always. Let's go to Linda. Line 4, New Jersey. Good morning, Linda.
Hey, Dominic. I'd like to say that the financial capitalist industrialists built New York City, but the third world socialists have moved into New York City, and they are demanding that the rich pay for them, and it's outrageous demands that they're making. I've heard interviews on the street. They are demanding that rich people pay for them. I don't know about you, but I've worked a lot of low-wage jobs in my life.
Agreed.
To get to where I am today.
Right.
But they're not willing to do that. They have such hubris.
Of course
they
not.
They want the rich to pay for them.
Right. You know, Linda, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you for the call, Linda, in New Jersey. Folks, we'll continue to follow the breaking news all night long. We'll have more. I'll be back 3 p.m. Eastern. Be safe. And do me a favor, folks. Have a lovely and wonderful day.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, Plus, follow WABC on social, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do? My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.